You're doing well. Welcome to Cooped Up Live, should I say. My randomly sporadic, it used to be daily broadcast. I'm trying to get back to that. I just talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about while we are waiting on folks to join. Coopedup.com is my website. I update that about as frequently as I come live. I'm Cooped Up is my handle in all the social places. Would love a follow, particularly if on the Instagrams and wherever you watch or listen to this. It is on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and then rebroadcast in audio format on all of the major podcasting platforms. Would love a subscribe, click the bell, whatever notifications that you do not miss a second of the fun. And with that, let's get rolling. Hope everyone is doing well. Hey, Mama. How are you? I am here. I am here. So, sorry about the last, month. Crazy month it has been. I'm hoping we are turning a page now. Things are going to get back to a little bit more normalcy around these parts. And hopefully what we have gone through is not the new normal. But yeah. So let's say the big story of the day. It's not politics. It's not religion. It's not anything of the big story of the day. It's Mother Nature. Has summer left the building? Are we officially over with summer? Now, granted, it was still 93 degrees today. But this morning when I went on my walk, it was downright chilly. I live across the street from a golf course. And so I was walking on the golf course and I'd hit a little pocket of morning air, which meant it actually cooled down at night. Because I feel like lately it has in Texas in the summertime, it just gets dark at night. It doesn't get any cooler. But I feel like we may have turned a corner on that. We may be able to use our pool again because it's just been too damn hot to even be out by the pool. Walk in the mornings again, all of that. But and someone planted in my head today, maybe a little summer scarf situation. I'm there for a nice linen scarf. So I almost put one on for the broadcast today, but didn't want to jinx it. But I think tomorrow the high is it like 85? It's supposed to be rainy. And Carrie told me she's thinking about taking the day off tomorrow because she's like, we got to celebrate it. The first rain that we've had in forever of any significance. The temperatures being down, all of that. Hey, Eric, how are you? Long time no see. But yeah, we have had the weirdest thing though. So here in our yard as well as in the park across the street, because I live where the golf course turns into tennis courts, turns into a park. It's kind of like my house spreads the three of those. And in the park across the street, there's been like 4 trees in the last month that have just given up the ghost. Old pecan trees, gorgeous old pecan trees, but at some point, they just can't handle the heat and the lack of water. And it's not an irrigated park. The golf course is irrigated, but the park is not. So, and then even on our property, we have a bunch of hollies. We probably have, I'd say like 20 hollies that are kind of planted in rows as like dividers on things. And we have one that just in the middle of a bunch of other ones, it just suddenly, just from one week to the next, turned white and died. And then we have a Japanese maple that is on its way out as well. So I think just the hard freeze that we've had, all of our limelight hydrangeas really struggled this summer because of the hard freeze that we had this winter, and then just this heat and not being able to keep the ground watered. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we've probably been violating all kinds of water restrictions around here. Our yard I'd rather pay a fine and the water bill than to pay for new landscaping. But you didn't hear that from me. That is allegedly speculation. So anyway, so if you look at the 10-day forecast here, at least I don't think there's a day in the 90s at all. Today was the last day. I think everything else is in the 80s, and there may even be one. This might be a little too exciting for me. Let me see let me actually verify what it says. I think that it is. I'm looking it up on my phone in case you're wondering why am I on my phone. So yeah, so tonight the high is 89, tomorrow's 85, 82 on Wednesday, 80 on Thursday. What the what? It does get back into the low 90s. So it's like 85, 86. On Monday, it's 89, 91, 92, 92, 92. But that's 92. I'll take 92 any day of the week, especially lately. So anyway, like I said, it's been a busy couple of weeks. I don't know if you knew, Eric saying it was nice to take the kids out to recess today and not get a heat stroke. Yet Claire, that was literally the first thing she said to me when she came in, or when I picked her up from school today. She's like, we played outside, we threw the football, and it was actually quite nice outside, unlike it has been recently. So that's nice. And what I was saying is that we, when it rains, it pours, unless it's actually not raining. Just the busyness recently. So opened a new campus, dealing with all of that. At the same time, we had decided that we were going to sell this house that used to be my office in the Bishop Arts District, right? And I haven't been using it since I moved out at December 1st. December 1st when I actually moved into the new place that we use as my office. So it's been sitting vacant since then. And we've just been trying to time it where it's nothing too crazy and going on, all that kind of stuff. Well, we timed it and it landed directly in the middle of a bunch of crazy stuff going on. Luckily, it sold very fast. We got multiple offers and took a very high offer. The first weekend it was on the market, closed on Friday, completely closed. Like, do not own it anymore. Do not have key codes. Do not have anything like that anymore. And it is done. Money is in the account, all of that. But last week, so not this past weekend, the weekend before that, Labor Day weekend, and then last week, consumed with a lot of moving out of that space because I had a bunch of furniture in there still. Sofas, tables, chairs. Most of it I donated to the kids' school for different, like the teacher's lounge. The teacher's lounge has a gorgeous, very expensive glass top lucite side table. It's like an invisible table. It's gorgeous. That it was in my office, but I can't use it. Our head of school has a desk. It's a glass top sawhorse desk that is a Ralph Lauren dupe. It was not the Ralph Lauren one cost like $13,000. I was not paying that, but it was still multiple thousands of dollars for the desk. So she's got a very nice new desk too. So I just couldn't take everything. But right now our gym downstairs, it looks like a thrift shop because it's all the little knick-knack and bric-a-brac stuff that we have. Monica, I don't know if you're watching. My sister's coming up this weekend. There may be stuff that you can go through and see if Logan needs anything. If you need anything, I got some lamps. I got some rugs. I got some other stuff. Little Koch family thrift shop for you there. And then there's I got a huge sectional sofa in there. No one wanted it. It's so big that I couldn't even get rid of it. And it's now in our gym. And I'm going to tell you, it is lovely having it in there because it's cooler in there. The sofa is so comfy. I went and sat in there, I guess last like Wednesday or Thursday, and I just fell asleep for like 2 hours on that sofa. Anyway, but that was that. Just lots of junk around. So I'm going to have to go through it all. And it's in the gym because we had a party at our house. That's the other thing. We had a party at our house a week ago Friday for the annual fund kickoff. So yada, yada, yada. Everything adds up. Or was that 3 Fridays ago already? 2 Fridays ago. You know what? It wasn't last Friday because last Friday was the Friday of Labor Day, and it wasn't that weekend. It was, my God, time has flown by. Hey, Sandy. How you doing? Anyway, but this past weekend, we went down to San Antonio. Claire had her first roller derby bout. I should have put that in the caption that I was going to talk about that. She had her first roller derby bout, and it was a lot of fun. We rented a house in the Lone Star District, which is sort of like the Bishop Arts District of Dallas. Not as cool yet. Like maybe the Bishop Arts District back in like the late 90s, early 2000s when it was just starting to flip. You're just starting to get some really cool shops and restaurants and stuff. Still a lot of old housing stock that hadn't turned over yet. We stayed in a house that had been renovated, and I feel like they added a second story to it. I don't think it was original to the house. Great house. Got it on Airbnb. I think it was like $250 a night. We stayed for 2 nights, but plus fees. But 7 of us stayed there but then 4 other people came over because my sister and her family came in. They stayed with us. My niece and her fiance came in. They stayed in a hotel, but they hung out with us most of the time. My aunt and uncle came in. They stayed at my cousin's house in San Antonio. But they came and they all went to the bout. The overwhelming thing, so Claire's team did not win the bout. However, they played exceptionally well. This was a very, very good team. And they held their own probably until about the half. And they just got hot. It was hot and it was still very hot there. And here's the thing about roller derby matches, bouts. They're called bouts. But I flip-flop on what them, games, matches, whatever. Is that they take place in like 3 different types of places. So one of the things that you've got where it takes place in like an old like 1970s, 1980s roller skating rink. That is very, very common. Like that's where as soon as I get off from here, packing up the car and going out to an old ass Forum roller rink. It's called Forum Skate World, I think is what it's called, for Claire's practice this evening for 2 hours. So going out there for that. So they're at old roller skating rinks, or they're at like a civic center or some sort of like gymnasium that's part of a rec center, that sort of thing, right? So there's that option. The third option is it looks like it is in a warehouse that we just all texted each other to show up at, didn't tell anybody that we were going to be there, got some brooms, swept it up, and threw some tape on the floor and went. That's what this one was in. This one was in, it was across the, or it was right next door, across a railroad track. Had a railroad track like right next to it, from the Salvation Army thrift store. So that tells you the neighborhood it was in. And you entered through the side, not air conditioned, didn't even have doors, had chain link across a bunch of the openings, like where rail cars and stuff would have been loaded. And just cement floor that they put some sort of padded floor. It had a padded floor that they brought in for this with tape and rope to make the course. And then I would say 200 people sat on bleachers made for 75 people, something like that. It was very crowded, very hot. They had fans going. The breakers kept shutting off because they had too much stuff plugged in, and they'd have to unplug stuff, plug it back in. Yes, Sandy, that's exactly what it was like. Sandy says it sounds like an old school boxing rink. That's exactly what this was like. It was exactly like that. And in fact, on the other side of it, they had just like a tarp pulled between us and the other side of this facility. I say with giant quotation marks. They were doing like Nacho Libre style wrestling on that side. So you would just see feet flying over this curtain thing occasionally while you were there. But it was a lot of fun. So like I said, my sister's family came in, my niece, my aunt and uncle, and then I had some friends. So 2 girls that I ate lunch with. So I went to a new high school, my senior year of high school, and I didn't have many friends. But 2 of the girls that I sat with for lunch, they live in the San Antonio area, and they came in. One of them brought her son, who turned 8 today, actually, and went. So they came and joined the fun, had a great time. And then Judy, who watches here, she showed up. She used to be with Frostbank, which I'm very involved in Frostbank. She's now with the Dallas Fed, but out of San Antonio. And so she and her daughter came up as well and watched it. The consensus with everyone was, wow, that was a lot more violent and aggressive than I thought it was going to be. Like literally everyone was like, oh, and I'm not going to kid you. It was, even I was kind of like, oh, that's a lot. And the way they did it, so Claire's a level 2, and you have to be at least a level 2 to play any sort of competitive junior roller derby. But she was a level 2, and what they do is on this particular thing, they did 2 level 3 jams, and a jam is basically a round. 2 level 3 jams and then a level 2 jam. 2 level 3 jams and then a level 2 jam. And so she was in about every third time. And those other 2 times, I'm like, I'm not sure I want Claire to be a level 3. It was very, become a really good level 2. Level 3 is going to give me a heart attack. because just the slamming and so much jumping and like, fortunately there was no medical emergency. Every other one I've been to, at least once, everyone has to take a knee and they heal somebody or someone's crying or whatever. It was not this time, fortunately. Claire's very, very sore still, but the just from the physicality of it all. But it was a lot of fun. And Judy actually, the woman who used to be with Frostbank, who's a great fan of our family, she actually, they were tailgating for the UTSA game, and she took an Uber over just for the first half and then went back to the UTSA game. But she was there with her daughter Grace, and they brought Claire this candy bouquet thing and all that. Is wonderful. Thank you so much, Judy. But the funny thing is, I was talking to her and I was like, well, the way Claire got into it is she went to one of these and she suddenly was like, that's what I want to do. I'm into it. And Judy goes, I hope Grace completely forgets that this ever happened. She did not want poor little Grace doing that. Did I see Jack Black? It was this close to that sort of thing. Anyway, it was funny. So we had the Derby, and it started. We had to drop Claire off at 10:30. Todd walked in with her, immediately texted me, "I'm not leaving my daughter here, so you can go get everybody else and come back. I'm staying." So I was like, okay. And then we just played. Monica and I went to HEB and bought all the salsas and all that stuff because I love some HEB, even though we don't have them in Dallas. And technically we have them in the Dallas area now, but they're still like 45 minutes away. And then we cooked dips and chips and hummus and all that kind of stuff. And then I made, it's kind of a fan favorite in my family. It's like gringo enchiladas. It's a recipe from Trisha Yearwood and their chicken enchiladas. And I just bought pre-shredded rotisserie chicken rather than making the chicken myself and shredding it. But you just put the chicken, you mix it with cream cheese and onions and green chili peppers and some taco seasoning and Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning. You roll it up into flour tortillas, just cover it in picante sauce, and then just a shit ton of mozzarella or Monterey Jack cheese. And bake it. It's really, really good. It's not low cal at all, not low fat at all, but so good. So I made that also. And then we just hung out, drank. We watched football, or they watched football games. This house also had a pool table in it. It had a basketball court in the backyard, all kinds of stuff. So sounds delicious. The enchilada, they're really good. They're really, really good. Total, like anglicized, bastardized version of enchiladas, but very, very good. But we just hung out and stayed up late and then woke up and drove home yesterday. I'm going to tell you though, that drive back from to and from San Antonio, going down, we took 281. It takes about 30 minutes longer to take 281, but it's a much more civilized drive. And since we were driving Friday afternoon, the last thing I wanted to do was hit rush hour traffic in Waco, in Temple, in Round Rock, and Austin, especially. Even with the new tollway around Austin, it gets bad rush hour, especially in the afternoons, and then San Antonio. So we timed it so that we got to San Antonio around 6:30, so missed most of it. Just took 281 down, leisurely drive. It was great. And then on the way back, since we left Sunday morning at like 10:30, we decided that I-35 was the way to go back. It is such a whipping though, y'all. And even we skipped Austin. We went around Austin on that tollway, which again, by the way, that tollway is fucking expensive. It is like, I think it is $18 each way, something like that. Crazy expensive, totally worth it. So skipped Austin. You wouldn't even know you were passing Austin on it. You're so far out in the country. Where they built it, it's really far out. But got home probably at around, what did we get home? Like 3 o'clock, 3:30, something like that. Stopped at Buc-ee's, got to stop at Buc-ee's. But here's the thing. I didn't even go in. I got the gas, and this is probably the first time ever we have gone to a Buc-ee's and I did not go in. I just was not feeling it. I did not know what was up. I was just kind of not feeling great. I ate too much at the house because we were pulling it all together. And anyway, so but then I had to pee, and we stopped at, is it Slovacek's in West Texas. I stopped there thinking it would be less insane than the Czech stop, because the Czech stop's usually pretty crazy. I was very wrong. I'd never been there before. It was like a Buc-ee's, but a hoarder ran it and had no organization. It just shit everywhere. So it looked like a fun store. It's just not an In-N-Out like I thought it was going to be. Eric is saying, I have a friend from Poland who rented an Airbnb house near Bishop Arts this summer. The house had a shuffleboard. They didn't know what it was until I showed them. They loved it. That is the thing. I love Airbnbs because of these little touches. I also like, or VRBO is the other one. VRBO tends to be like the week-long ones for vacation places. Airbnb tends to be a couple of nights here or there, and in less vacation places. Although I think our one just south of Santa Barbara was an Airbnb, actually. But I like them because, one, you have more space. You don't just have your bed to sit on. You have a living room, separate bedrooms, all that kind of stuff. You have a kitchen, and usually it's a nice kitchen. I do cook on vacation. I cannot stand going out to eat every single meal. It drives me insane, because not only the cost, but just the getting ready for it and all of that. Like, I just want to be able to be in my bathing suit eating, or still my pajamas pants, or whatever. I don't want to have to fix my. So here's the thing I have come to realize. Well, let me finish that thought real quick. A lot of them have things like pool tables, big ass TVs, shuffleboard, that sort of stuff, because they got to have kind of a little twist on it. So I like all of that. I was talking the other day about overpacking and such. I'm an underpacker, like to a fault, an underpacker, like where I will go on a trip and I'd be like, oh shit, I forgot an entire category of things to bring with me. And I don't underpack or overpacking. I cannot relate to it. I do not know what people are thinking. But I've come to figure out people say that they want options, quote unquote. To me, that is indecisive is what that is, but whatever. No judgment, not at all. But I've also come to figure out that a lot of people are very aspirational versions of themselves when they're on vacation. And Vacation Cooper is like the gross version of me. Vacation Cooper doesn't brush his hair every day, brushes his teeth every day, but not his hair. Vacation Cooper has no interest in exercising. Vacation Cooper may not even wash his face in the morning, unless I am at a place where like I need to go like to a museum or something like that, right? And then I may put it on. Vacation Cooper wears the same clothes like 5 times. One pair of shoes the entire trip, maybe a second pair if there's like maybe a nice dinner involved. And by nice dinner, I mean I'm going to wear the most casual thing I possibly can get away with to the nice dinner. So, and I am not aspirational at all on vacation. Eric's saying if I forget to pack something, it's always socks and or underwear. The thing I forget all the time, which is why I own so many of them, is I forget my pajamas pants, and I cannot sleep without them. I cannot sleep in shorts. I cannot sleep in underwear. I cannot sleep in just underwear or just shorts or whatever. I have to have fabric covering from hip to ankle. Like, I just cannot sleep without it, and it can't be too heavy. It can't be too light. It has to be just right. And so I end up I own more pair of pajamas pants than any adult human should, because that's the one thing I forget a lot. But anyway, totally lost my train of thought on that. But yeah. Sandy's like, vacation means making no decisions. Exactly. I make perfect explanation there. I make so many decisions on a regular basis that when I'm away, I have decision fatigue. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be. And I actively try not to be in charge of things or even know details about them, because the minute, I don't know if it's my personality type, if I'm a bulldozer, if everyone trusts me, all of the above, if I'm just an amazing human being, not sure. But the minute, and this is work life, personal life, school life, everything life. The minute I know 1 or 2 details about something, suddenly I am the fucking tour guide. I am in charge. I am the one telling everyone where to be, when to be, doing the triage, all of that. And I don't know if it's because of my height, my intelligence, my attractiveness, my keep going, Cooper. Or just my personality. I do think I'm a bulldozer. But I'm very empowered. I like just take charge of situations too. So I actively, like, if Todd is in charge of something, I will actively not know things about it just to prevent myself from being in charge of it. Like, he's like, oh, I want to go do this. I'm like, great, plan it. Well, what day do you want? Plan the day. Well, how are we going to get there? Look at a map. I actively do not do that. Sandy's saying, when I travel, the team always comes to me with the dinner plans. I have PTSD over. I do not care where we eat. Same girl, same. I'm like, I don't want to be in charge. Do not put me in charge. Do not let me put myself in charge. And then what else do I have on my card today? I booked my COVID shot. They approved the new COVID shot today. And I booked mine. It's not this Thursday. It's next Thursday. I think it's going to take them like a week to get in circulation. And I'm getting COVID and flu the same time. I planned it so that on Thursday I have it. So if I feel like shit, I feel like shit on Friday. The last COVID shots have all made me feel like shit because I have a busy Saturday. But I have to get it because if there's a respiratory illness going around, Cooper Koch is going to catch it. The flu, always. COVID so far, yes, always. So I need to get that. But I booked it at the Tom Thumb here in the neighborhood for next Thursday, a week from Thursday. And then we have the RV show this weekend. Hopefully I do not catch COVID at the RV show in the meantime. Eric is also saying Mark hasn't lined up a trip in our 22 years together. We'd probably never leave Dallas if it were up to him. The benefit is that you get exactly what you want, though, right? I guess there is that. Anyway, and my mom asked me, how does Mason like his new high school? Jury is still out on that. As to be expected, a lot of growing pains, a lot of, I would equate it to kind of homesickness. Like he's homesick for his old school because he doesn't know it. So I think the excitement of it has worn off. Like if you've ever lived away from home, the first few weeks are very exciting. You're like exploring everything. Everything's new, different. And then a new normal sets in and then you kind of miss the old one. And so I think he's having some of that. Oh, I just knocked my desk over. He's having some of that. And I mean, he's doing fine. I think he's struggling with the rigor of high school as well, the changing of classes, that sort of thing, having to balance that you have certain classes on certain days and certain on other days, because it's college prep school. So they observe the block schedule similar to college, where you don't have every class every day. And I think most high schools are doing that now. But, when we were in high school, it was like 8 classes a day, 8 periods a day, like that. And then what else? And he also he has no friends there really. And I didn't really think about this until the other day, but he has never not been at a school with Claire. And while he would deny this to the grave, call me a liar, all this stuff, I think he misses having her as like a fallback, a safety blanket, and all that kind of stuff. He's going to get through it. Just needs a little bit more time and to get used to it and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's hard to watch. I'm going to tell you, it's like I seeing him struggle. I know he has to, and I have to let him, and I can't swoop in. I can't bulldoze and come in and just clear the way. So I have to let him do it. So anyway, a good question. Thank you for asking. Do not tell him what I told you. This is a private conversation, y'all. Yeah. Anyway, well, that's all I have got for today. Let me make sure I did not miss anything in the comments. I don't believe I missed anything. So, alrighty. Hopefully I'll be here tomorrow. But for that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. Yes, Sandy, what you're saying. He'll get through it. It's so hard to be a teenager. Yeah, add on to hormones and breakouts and all that kind of stuff to it. And you just got a cocktail. When will we see you again? I'm going to try to get back on a schedule of at least 3 times a week. That's what I'm going to try. I'm going to commit to Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at this point, and I will try to add in Tuesdays and Thursdays where I can. How about that? And I'll do my best. 9 times out of 10 is what happens is that I just get busy and I don't realize that it is 4:30 already. And then one of y'all texts me or calls me and says, "Hey, are you coming live?" And I'm like, shit, I'm not even anywhere where I can't do that. So anyway, well, with that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you are loved. I love that you watched this. Thank you so much. And I do miss you when I don't get to come on here and externally process and talk to you all about just whatever's going on in my life. Take care of yourself. Don't should yourself to death. No good comes from should. And with that, I'm going to say bye. And I'll see you next time on Cooped Up Live. Should I say? Talk to you later. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.